The sun was sinking low over the sprawling plains of southern Texas. Golden light washed over the fields of corn swaying gently in the breeze, painting the perfect picture of peace and simplicity. To any passerby, this was just another humble farm owned by an old man living out his quiet retirement. But the man who called this place home was anything but ordinary. His name was Jack Reynolds. 61 years old, tall, broad-shouldered, his hands worn from years of work on the land. Neighbors saw him as a simple rancher who loved the soil and his horses. They had no idea that Jack was once the most feared commander in the history of the United States Delta Force, a man whose name still echoed in dark corners of the world like a ghost story. Jack had seen hell. He had walked into places no sane man would dare, and walked out leaving nightmares behind. For 3 decades, he had served his country with ruthless precision, hunting terrorists, dismantling cartels, and ending wars before they began. Now, he only wanted one thing: peace. But peace is a fragile thing. And for men like Jack, it never lasts. The trouble began when a ruthless Mexican cartel known as Los Zorros set their eyes on his land. Their leader, Raul Mendoza, had plans to expand operations north of the border. Jack's farm, sitting near an old highway route, was the perfect staging ground. The cartel believed the owner was just an old farmer with a few guns for show. They were about to learn how deadly a mistake that was. It was late afternoon when Jack first noticed the dust cloud rising on the horizon. Trucks. 3 of them. Blacked out windows. No license plates. His gut tightened instantly. He had seen that formation before. Not farmers. Not tourists. Trouble. Jack walked slowly to his porch, calm as the wind brushed against his weathered face. He wore a simple flannel shirt, jeans, and old boots, but his eyes, those piercing steel blue eyes, could cut through stone. He reached for the worn coffee mug sitting on the railing and sipped, watching the trucks roll closer. A younger man might have panicked, maybe called the cops. But Jack had lived long enough to know help wouldn't come in time. And he didn't need it. The trucks screeched to a halt at the edge of his driveway. Men spilled out. 8 of them, armed with AR-15s and shotguns, tattoos crawling up their necks, faces twisted into sneers of confidence. They thought this would be easy. The leader, a stocky man with a gold chain and snake tattoo, strutted forward. "Old man," he called out in a thick accent, "you own this land." Jack didn't answer right away. He just looked at the man, slow and steady, the way a wolf sizes up a lamb pretending to be a lion. Finally, he said, his voice low and calm, "I do." The man smirked. "Not anymore. Get your things and leave. This land belongs to Los Zorros now." Jack took another sip of coffee. "That's so. See, you got one chance to walk away, abuelo. Take it." Jack set his cup down on the railing with deliberate care. Then he spoke, his voice barely above a whisper, yet sharp as a blade. "You boys picked the wrong farm." Laughter erupted from the group. The cartel soldiers exchanged grins, tapping their rifles like predators ready to pounce. They had no idea that the man standing before them had orchestrated operations that toppled regimes, that he could dismantle them faster than they could blink. The leader barked, "Take the house. Kill him if he fights." And just like that, chaos erupted. The first 2 men charged up the steps with their rifles raised. Jack moved like lightning, faster than a man his age should move. In a single fluid motion, he grabbed the barrel of the first rifle, twisted it, and drove the stock into the man's throat. Before the second attacker could react, Jack pivoted, slammed his elbow into his jaw, and ripped the rifle from his hands. 2 men down. The rest opened fire. Bullets shattered the wooden posts, splinters flying like angry wasps. Jack rolled behind the porch column, chambering around in the stolen AR. His movements were smooth, methodical. Years of muscle memory kicking in like an old song. 3 controlled bursts. 3 men dropped before they hit the dirt. Panic set in. These weren't farmers with pitchforks. This was something else. The leader screamed in Spanish, ordering them to fall back. But Jack wasn't about to let them go. He leapt from the porch and sprinted across the open ground, zigzagging with precision, using every scrap of cover like a man born for war. His mind wasn't on the farm anymore. It was back in Mogadishu, Fallujah, Tijuana, the killing fields. By the time the last man tried to crawl into the truck, Jack was on him. He yanked the man out by his collar and slammed him into the dirt. The fight ended with a single, bone-crunching blow. The yard was silent now, save for the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of a crow. Bodies lay scattered. Jack stood in the middle, his chest rising and falling slowly, eyes cold as steel. But this was only the beginning. Because when Raul Mendoza heard that 8 of his men had been wiped out by one old farmer, he didn't see it as a warning. He saw it as an insult. And men like Raul don't take insults lightly. That night, as Jack sat in his kitchen cleaning his rifle, the phone rang. No caller ID. He let it ring. Then it stopped. A minute later, a text came through, "We're coming." Jack stared at the message for a long moment. Then a slow smile crept across his face. For the first time in years, the fire in his blood burned again. He walked to the old barn and opened a locked trunk hidden under a tarp. Inside lay his past. Tactical gear, knives, suppressed weapons, grenades, and the emblem of the unit that shaped him, Delta Force. He strapped on the vest, loaded the mags, and whispered to himself, "You want a war, Raul? You got it." Hours later, under the pale glow of the moon, a convoy of black SUVs roared down the dirt road toward Jack's farm. 20 men this time, armed to the teeth, ready to burn the place to ashes. But the farm wasn't quiet anymore. It was a fortress. Claymore mines hidden under dirt, tripwires stretched across the fields, vantage points scoped for long-range shots. Jack wasn't defending his home. He was hunting. The first explosion ripped through the night as the lead SUV hit a mine, flipping like a toy. Men screamed, fire lighting up the darkness. Panic spread like wildfire. And then came the gunfire. Precise, surgical, every shot dropping a target. Jack moved through the chaos like a phantom, striking fast and disappearing. He used every trick in the book: smoke grenades, flanking maneuvers, silence and shadows. One by one, the cartel soldiers fell. Finally, only Raul remained, crawling toward his rifle. Jack stepped out of the shadows, boots crunching on gravel, rifle aimed steady. Raul froze, eyes wide with terror. Who are you?" he stammered. Jack's voice was calm, almost soft. "Just a farmer." And with that, the nightmare ended. When the smoke cleared and the sirens finally wailed in the distance, Jack stood on his porch again, watching the horizon. The farm was safe. For now. But he knew the world would never stop sending its monsters. And he would never stop being the man who hunted them. Because some men aren't made for peace. They're made for war.